Hi, I'm Jeff Brazil from the University of Arkansas. In this recorded webinar, you will hear Dr. Stephen Wheeler and Dr. Andrew Bowers from the College of Education and Health Professions to talk about the Postmaster's Certificate in Advanced School-Based Speech Language Pathology. Great stuff, and remember, go Hogs!
Thanks for joining our informational webinar. This is a information session about our Postmaster Certificate in Advanced School-Based Speech Language Pathology. This is brought on by the College of Education and Health Professions. Today, we're very lucky to have a couple of special guests, Dr. Stephen Wheeler, who's the department head for the Communication Disorders and Occupational Therapy Department. We also have the program coordinator and a professor, Dr. Andrew Bowers, on here as well. I encourage you to take the opportunity to ask them questions during this webinar, try to get all the information you can, and we'll let them speak on the programs, the courses in the program from their perspective as well. So first, what I'll do is I'll go over the program, just the generalities of the program, as well as the benefits of an online degree. I'll go over the admissions process and student life type stuff, as well as the resources that are available to you, and then some resources for paying for college as well. So looking specifically at this program, this is a postmaster's certificate. So it does require a master's degree in speech language pathology already, and it's geared primarily towards people in a K-12 public school setting. And it's a postmaster's certificate. So it's a 100% online course. It's comprised of 15 credit hours, and it's estimated to take about a year and a half. Given how flexible you are with taking those classes, and there's no GRE that's required to get into the program as well. So looking kind of broadly at what you're going to expect from the program, it's all graduate level coursework, of course, and it's really going to help you to focus on specific areas within speech language pathology, such as like fluency disorders or feeding disorders, things like that. Each of the courses is 8 weeks, and they're taught by certified speech language pathologists. So you'll have like a good opportunity to meet with somebody that's very skilled in a specific area and learn from them. You'll be taught by the same faculty that are teaching on the campus as well. So the requirements for the course, like I said, you must have a master's degree in speech language pathology. That is an accredited program by the American Speech, Language, and Hearing Association. Also, each one of the courses in this program they count towards ASHA CEUs as well. So that's another benefit of the program. And the application deadline is August 1st. And at present, it's a fall start only course. There might be some options, I think, that we're exploring to open that up to later times or to other times. But yeah, that's just kind of the general overview. So right now, what I'll do, I'll turn it over to Dr. Bowers and Dr. Wheeler and give them an opportunity to kind of touch on different aspects of the program if they have anything specific, and then maybe some questions as well.
I can answer any questions that you guys have, or I can just sort of talk about the program from my perspective. I mean, I think Will is probably going to talk later on here about some of the sort of concrete advantages of being in the program. So you're getting 15 hours, you're getting these ASHA CEUs. I think it's a 12 and a half total for the ASHA CEUs. But you can also, it's possible to get a pay bump from getting 15 hours. So that's another sort of concrete potential benefit, I think, depending on your school district and how that works, how that pays. There's obviously you're going to have experts in the field. All of us work on campus. We are publishing, or we're very involved in each one of the areas for the classes that we teach. So you get expertise from the folks who design these classes. Every one of them was designed by somebody that has expertise in that particular area. So I just want to open it up. Do you guys have any specific questions about the program?
Can you give information as far as like what specific courses will be offered?
Yeah, we offer a course. I also want to send you guys to the website. We have a really great website with lots of information. It's CSDI at uark.edu. And if you go there and you click on Certificate in Advanced School-Based Speech-Language Pathology, it'll give you a lot of good information. There's nice links and buttons for how to apply to the program, so you can link out to the application process from there. There's instructions on how to do it. There's all of that stuff on there. So the classes are offered in a sequence. So you have 2 in the fall, 2 in the spring, and then 1 that's in the summer. The first one in the sequence, if you start in the fall, like if you started from that August 1st deadline and you weren't just taking the classes sort of piecemeal, which is another option too. But the first one is Literacy for Learning in Educational Settings. So it's a lit class. Right now it's taught by a cult. She has considerable expertise in that area. Advanced Assessment and Intervention for Fluency Disorders is the next one. I teach that, so I do stuttering. Effective augmentative and alternative communication services in schools. So AAC, pediatric dysphagia, which is, I think, useful to most folks. And then behavior management in educational settings.
We have 2 adjunct experts that teach those last 2 classes.
I have 2 questions. And again, we may get to these, but I was wanting some more information of how this fits moving into like the educational specialist degree. I know that when I've done some research that it can move, kind of be the first part of that. And then my second question is, I'm just kind of curious of what maybe a week might look like, or like what the workload might look like per class. And I know that's going to be different with different expectations, but that's
a great 2 great questions.
So I'll speak to the classes and sort of like how a week would work in the 8-week over the 8 weeks. So you'll have a lesson, like 1 lesson per week for most of the courses. And the workload is going to, right, like you said, it's going to depend on the instructor and the course. But I think we're all the instructors in the program are cognizant that you guys are working and that you guys have families and all of those things too. So I think the workload is appropriate for that. It's designed so that you can get through it while working and finish that way. Often, like for example, in my course, there's going to be a case study at the end of each lesson, so that we're reinforcing application as much as possible. All the courses are also designed for folks who are in the schools, so it's very focused on school-based SLPs. So I think you'll get practical information and helpful information out of the courses, and that's sort of what the workload is like. So does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Thank you.
And what was the other question again?
The other question was how it fits into the educational specialist program / degree.
So it's like a concentration within the EDS program, and the EDS program is 33 hours. So you would get 15 out of our program, and then the rest you would have to take in the EDS program. And they offer interesting courses about literacy. So there's more literacy there, like literacy in the schools. I think there's that some of the courses are kind of irregular. There's one about gifted students that I've heard about that's a really fantastic course. So you can learn some things sort of outside of the profession and get a degree, and maybe get paid even more through an EDS degree. I think that's possible.
We have students now that are on that path. Yeah. Their intention is to get the degree.
Do you happen to know, as far as admission, if you were going to go that tract or that route, if you have to have any sort of designation, like or teacher licensure or anything of that nature for the EDS degree?
The admission requirements are on the CSDI at uark.edu page. The educational specialist degree is down there too.
Yeah.
And the instructions are right there. Yeah, it doesn't say that there are any special requirements except, having a master's degree. So your master's degree in speech pathology should get you through that or into it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know we also had a question from prior to the meeting that was, are there any live or live sessions throughout this, or is it fully asynchronous? Do you know if any professors have any specific meetings or anything like that throughout the course?
Yeah, I can speak to that too. The requirement of it is entirely asynchronous. So you can do these things at your own pace. There are due dates, but the instructors, again, are sort of aware that you're working and tend to have flexibility on those due dates. And it's going to depend on the instructor. But we're all aware that you're working. And sometimes professors will they'll give you an option to have like a Zoom meeting and meet some of your peers. And I think some folks really like doing that, but it's not going to be a requirement at all. So it's 100% asynchronous online.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Did we have any final questions before we move on to kind of just the online portion of it, like what the learning management stuff?
I know that you said there's 2 courses in the fall, 2 in spring, 1 in summer. Is it required that you start in the fall, or can you join at any point?
You can take, there's also instructions here on the website, the admissions process for a single course. And so you can take the courses sort of out of sequence like that.
Okay, but you would have to go that route through the website, through the single course. Okay,
That's right.
Got it.
Yeah, we're trying to build, Callie, we're trying to build in more flexibility into the program. So right now it's set up as an August 1st start date, but we're looking at some options around potentially starting outside of that. But also like Dr. Bowers says, you can also flex in terms of the intensity of the courses that you take if your life situation doesn't allow you to take 2 at once.
How long do you have to complete it?
To complete the 15 hours?
Yes. So if I was to take just one course, like a semester, or how long would you have to take to complete it? Or if you were to do all of them individually, like out of sequence, would that still allow you the certificate?
Yeah, you can still get the certificate if you're taking those courses, so you can accumulate those courses toward the certificate. I think the graduate school, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, gives you 6 years. So once you're admitted into the graduate school. And so I think it's plenty of time for you to, even if you're taking them, because I know for some of you guys, and you can correct me on this too, but from emailing back and forth with you guys, some of you get money from your district. So they'll pay for you to take one of these courses, but they'll only let you do two a year or something like that. Is that how it works for some of you guys?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. And so then there's sort of an incentive in your case to take them in a piecemeal kind of way. So I think you get 6 years and you can complete it probably in that time.
So speaking of the cost, generally what does the entire certificate end up costing you per credit hour?
I think Will's going to speak to that.
Okay, thank you.
I do have some slides on that as well. I can go ahead and tell you though, the tuition per credit hour is $459 and 68 cents. So that's the per credit hour rate. You pay in-state tuition no matter where you live. Again, I'll kind of go over this. I'll have a slide on that. But yeah, did you have any other questions before we move on?
I just wanted to ask, and you might cover it in the upcoming presentation, but like how we're sort of assessed, or like the different, I know every course could be different, but in terms of just expectations of like how our learning is measured.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ABCD, just like when you were in graduate school, but it'll be more application based. So there'll be more writing, more case studies. Often there's a discussion component because we can't like when I meet with graduate students, we get to discuss verbally back and forth. And when it's 100% asynchronous, you can't do that. So there's often some discussion back and forth in writing between you guys from these discussion prompts. And those are graded. You'll get points. There's a point system, so similar
Yeah.
to graduate school.
Yeah, thank you. And then just clarify, I think you might have mentioned this at the very beginning and I missed it, but it's fall, spring. It starts in the fall, and then people, if they take 2 courses at once, at least for the first couple semesters, you could complete it in a summer. So it would be like a fall, spring, a summer. Is that what there is a summer session, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Yes, that's right. There's one class that's always offered in the summer, and they're always offered the same way: fall 1, fall 2, spring 1, spring 2, and then the summer.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you all for those great questions. We'll go ahead and move on. I'll finish up the sections that we here at Global Campus have to talk about, and then we'll have one final Q&A session toward the end, or ask for any straggling questions. So, yeah, what are the benefits of an online degree? The flexibility is the main thing. As Dr. Bowers was talking about, we realize that the vast majority of people that are taking this are going to be working full time. So we try to accommodate that. Professors are fully cognizant of that and try to help make it as flexible as they can. Obviously, there are due dates and things like that, but it's able to fit within your schedule. And then affordability is a big issue. So we have worked hard to make sure that you pay in-state tuition, no matter where you live. And then we're here to support you. So Global Campus's mission is to develop and deliver the content that the main campus provides. So to anybody, anywhere. And we have staff that are here to be able to answer your questions and that are looking out for you and trying to make sure that you stick to the course and that you're able to get enrolled and stay on track and finish the program. So, and then the University of Arkansas is a great institution. We're a top public research institution that's accredited by the Higher Learning Commission, and has consistently been ranked by U.S. News and World Reports as some of the best value for the education that you receive here. And a lot of that is owing to the faculty, Dr. Wheeler, Dr. Bowers, and everybody else that's in the program. They're experts in their field, and they are able to impart that knowledge onto you. And it's a really, really great program and a great institution. And you'll be able to join a network of over 200,000 alumni worldwide that are, advancing. They've been able to advance their careers and do some really awesome things. So, and then just generally the admission process goes like this, where you apply on the website, you'll pay an application fee at that time, submit any transcripts and information related to your graduate level work. Then I encourage everybody to check their status at that point to make sure that everything has been fully submitted and that we don't need any other information. And then you'll receive a decision. Usually it takes 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how everything works out. But then you'll have to go in and accept the results of that decision. So life as an online student is not too much different than if you were on campus. We use a learning management system called Blackboard Learn, which is just your virtual classroom. You'll be able to interact with your classmates here. All of the resources that you would expect from a regular class, such as your grades and assignments and due dates, are all there. We use the same system for most of our on-campus courses as well. You'll have things like discussion boards, case studies, as Dr. Bauer said, and then there are support services that are built directly into Blackboard. So if you run into any issues, you'll be able to, connect with people and try to get you back on the right track. So, and then we, as I said, Global Campus has staff that is here to support you. So we have liaisons, which are essentially like your first point of contact if you have any questions or need help getting on the right track. Liaisons are they're able to reach out to you to make sure everything is going well, and you can kind of share your successes with them or get information, try to figure out where to you need, if you're needing information, who to talk to. They can kind of point you in the right direction. And coaches also kind of fulfill that same role, but they're just kind of like the success, like part of it, where they kind of connect you as well. We also have a student union, which is just a place similar to an on-campus union where you would, go to meet other students, like discuss maybe study tips, things like that, discuss what you're working on, what your background is, that sort of stuff. And then to help make sure you get started on the right foot, we have an online orientation that allows you to, you know, do a mock class where you kind of just do a dry run of what it's going to be like to be in the course, and it just gets you set on the right track. And if you have any questions or anything like that, you can reach out to the liaisons there at that QR code. So. As I said earlier, the tuition per credit hour is $459.68. That's in-state tuition. And then there are several other fees there, but those are for like library and because you'll have access to the library system as well. So any research material that you could access online through our library will be there. And then just to wrap up, we have the College of Education and Health Professions information there. So if you want to learn more about the program or what that college does and all of the information about it, you can reach out to them. And then Dr. Bowers, again, he's the program coordinator. So if you have any questions, his information is there as well. And I'll just open it up for any final questions that anybody might have.
I have one more question, and I'm just wondering, I've been working in the schools for 25 years. First of all, if I fail, can I fail?
Patrice, don't talk like that.
Second of all, what would be the benefit? I mean, I have a lot of experience in schools. What would be the benefit? Because I love school, I'm really interested, but what would be the benefit for me to come get a certificate, graduate certificate? I mean, I have one in educational leadership.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I love speech pathology, but can you explain a little bit about the benefit?
I think I can speak to that. I think one thing is you've been working in the schools for a long time. You have lots of experience. And I think for me, you bring that to the class. So I have expertise in the literature and the area. I can give you everything new and lots of resources, especially for fluency. Because that's one area where speech pathologists, especially folks working in the schools, feel like they have a weakness, right? So you're getting all the newest information about that, and plus access to all the resources, all the videos, all the things that you might be able to use to sort of improve, make yourself feel more comfortable addressing stuttering in the schools with younger kids all the way up through adolescence.
Okay.
So I think that's a benefit too, just getting the information, getting the resources, all the PowerPoints, all the discussions that we have, all that information, evidence-based practice, practice-based evidence, all of those things put together. But it's also like, I feel like it's a win-win because I learn from you guys too. When I work with graduate students, they don't know what they don't know. There's kind of a situation where they don't know what questions to ask. Whereas you guys know exactly what questions you want to ask. And so I think you get the benefit of the back and forth, even though it's 100% asynchronous.
So I work in the hospital setting, and I'm actually on a diagnostic unit in our Psychiatric Research Institute. And so I was curious, how could getting this certificate be beneficial for myself? I primarily do diagnostic work here, doing a full battery of assessments, which, hearing the stuttering piece of things, that makes me really excited. So I know I could definitely learn from that piece, but I'm just kind of curious, what else, could benefit me, or do you feel like this would be something that would be beneficial for me to pursue?
I was actually thinking about that a little bit because I saw your UAMS shirt on. So I thought maybe you were coming from the hospital base. Andy, do you want to tackle that? And then I have a couple of thoughts on it as well.
Okay, well, just the best that I can. There's Pete's dysphagia. Would that be useful to you?
Potentially, yes. I have had a handful of kids who have come through with previous dysphagia diagnoses, and we don't ever have to do any sort of fluoros or anything. My age range for kids here is 5 to essentially 13.
Okay. What about AAC?
I have had a number of kids come through that are nonverbal or are very limited in their verbal abilities. And so I normally have to refer in that sort of circumstance.
So to me, it sounds like some of those courses could be helpful in your setting.
Okay.
And I think too, just opportunities to network within people in the area, including the professors. I mean, when you're talking about either AAC or behavioral issues or whatever, those are even though the certificate is school based, most of those issues are universal across practice settings. So I think you'd definitely get professional development across those areas. And I think you get great opportunities to network with people that are also in that space, and hopefully that's sort of a secondary one of the secondary things that goes with the learning experience is the ability to also learn from each other.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Okay, thank you.
We have a question from the chat that asked, could we kind of go over that pathway again from the master's to the educational leadership?
You would finish the 15 in the postmaster certificate. Those 15 would count towards your EDS. And then I think the total is 33 hours of work total in the EDS program. And I would still be your advisor through all of that. I'm the program coordinator, so I would be helping you get through those courses. I'd help you with your program of study. I'd give you what classes to take, and to the best I can, I'll give you advice on which classes are most relevant to you.
When you're talking about EDS, that's for special education leadership. So like special ed director in the school, something like that.
It's not special education, it's just educational specialist. So it's applicable to all education, not specific to special ed.
Okay.
Although I think there are SPED classes in there.
There is,
I think the literacy classes are SPED. We call it SPED, special education here.
Right.
Those folks are experts too, role leaders in that.
And we're very thankful for your time to show up today with us from noon during your lunch hour and spend your day with us. We're very appreciative of that. I mean, hopefully someday soon we can get you to be Arkansas Razorbacks.